Yeah, Air Force so far this season's been streaky. One line across possession, they look really good, and the next one they kind of look a little bit lost. So just building on that confidence and stringing more and more positive possessions is going to definitely help them.
So we'll face it off at midfield to get this one underway. Air Force and Ohio State on a Saturday here in Colorado Springs. Glad you could join us here on ESPN Plus for this one. Air Force comes in 0 to the Buckeyes
in 5 and just came over the defender's shoulder.
So Ed Sheehan gets the first goal of the game. And for Sheehan, that is his 6th goal this 4:16 to go here in the first at Falcon Stadium. Josh Howe, Danny Bellissimo, and Danny, Ohio State out to a 2-0 lead. They've outshot Air Force, and Falcons having a hard time holding on to the ball. 5 turnovers for the Falcons early on in this one.
Yeah, that's not only is the only thing that tells the story here, but you can see that from his drive from X, got above the goal line, put the ball low and hard, and in the back of the net.
Well, if you're head coach Bill Wilson, certainly looking to make some adjustments here as this game ticks on as we head to the second quarter. Just under 2 to go here in this opening quarter. Garrett Haas, the 4th different Buckeye to score here in the first.
Got Air Force for an illegal procedure. It's going to go Ohio State.
Final seconds here in the first. One last attempt, and they are off the mark.
Catching Air Force in the middle of a slide. I think the big adjustment has to come up on the offensive side of the field. I think we only had 1 shot on goal during the entire first quarter, but about 4 or 5 possessions. So Air Force needs to work their offense, get a good look at the cage, and bury it.
Jake Knapp, Tommy Burke here. Got a ground ball there, and it's going to be Burke that wins it. Ohio State here, and you talked about that, controlling this mid-portion, and a big win there by the Falcons. His 3rd goal of the season, and Air Force is within 3. Comes less than a minute into the second quarter. And a ground ball, Air Force takeaway, but giving it right back.
Again, Air Force was making.
So McGee puts Ohio State up 5-1.
Yeah, it was just unlucky for Air Force. Their defenseman just fell down there. Ohio State was able to recognize and just take in.
That's his 2nd goal this season. Air Force strikes, and Danny, 2nd goal of the game, and a beautiful assist by Luke Versansky. And that's going to go Ohio State's way. Josh Iago, goal number 4 this season, number 2 today. And it's a 5-2 game here with just under 10.5 minutes to go in the second. Josh Howe, Danny Bellissimo back here, Falcon Stadium, Colorado Springs. Air Force trailing Ohio State, just under 7 to go in the second quarter. And the Buckeyes have struck for 2 goals here in the second quarter. Dylan McGee getting the latest, his 2nd goal of the season, and that's where we stand here, a 6-2 game as Air Force on the defensive end, Danny, to open up here out of this timeout midway through this.
The next time they want to drive in front of the cage.
Oh, Dylan McGee with back-to-back goals, second and third of the season, and the lead pushed to 5 here. I have to believe this keep how they will respond as far as physicality, the hustle plays after Ohio State really set the tone and controlled in that department in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely. So right here on the face-off, I want Air Force to set the tone. You see on the wing right here, we got number 17, Chris Bardak. This kid's got more heart than anybody else on the team. He's going to be a tactical air control party officer once he graduates, and I want him to set the tone. Ohio State's done a really good job with their offense of keeping the ball away from him so he can't set the tone, but I'm hoping he starts to do it this half.
And a big start right there as Knapp controls here and a ground ball. Hustle play for Air Force. They're able to keep it alive. That's Cody Gross battling for the Falcons. And effort to come out of there with the ball, and they'll race over to the far side. This is Turner Ashby.
Yeah, that was just all-out hustle. Chris Bardak, Coach Wilson's given Brick there a breather on the sideline. I would have put him right back on the wing and let him run it back.
So for Bardak, that's his first goal, not only of the game, but the season. And a stop there by the Ohio State netminder, and an opportunity here for Air Force. They come up with another. Falcon Stadium this side here for this Air Force Ohio State matchup. Saturday afternoon, the Buckeyes have just struck for their 8th goal of the game. Josh Howe, Danny Bellissimo, and Danny Ben Mayer. That's 2nd goal of the game, and critical juncture in this game is Air Force trying to find a way to get a stop and cut into this deficit here as we tick down here in the third, approaching the 5-minute mark here remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, that last goal, all Ohio State did was play. That's that where he starts his dodge. You see Air Force starts falling, and he did a little bit of that Michael Jordan against the Utah Jazz for that game-winning shot where he used that free hand for a little bit of a push to get that shot on goal.
So Gannon Matthews now with 11 goals this season.
Men, and just a nice little shot on goal.
Well, Turner Ashby getting the goal. That's his 4th of the season. Critical face-off here. And the Buckeyes able to win it. So the Buckeyes work.
You know, funny story, my first start in my Air Force career came against Ohio State in Columbus. I was running the clear, and I shorted a pass towards the box. And the head coach of Air Force at the time, Fred Acey, about ate my lunch on the field for shorting that pass. And I still wake up in the middle of the night in cold sweats over it.
You do that once, right?
Something like that.
Puts them up 11-4 here in. So the goal by Ohio State puts them up 11-4 here in the 4th quarter. Air Force will have it. Down 7. Opening up here the 4th quarter. Air Force trailing Ohio State by a score of 10-4. Josh Howe, Danny Bellissimo here at Falcon Stadium. See the snow piled up. Had a shot of snow late Friday into Saturday morning. They cleared the field off, and it has turned out Ohio State leading Air Force 12-4 here in the 4th quarter. Just over 6 minutes to go. Josh Howe, Danny Bellissimo, and Danny, the Buckeyes weathered a little bit of a storm as Ohio State a little bit flat, and I would say Air Force the aggressor coming out of the locker room to start the 3rd quarter, but Falcons put a goal on the board, but then it was the Buckeyes answering.